This episode is sponsored by AnimeCheap.com. Get your anime free or cheap and legally at AnimeCheap.com.
This month, Elizabeth details the pros and cons, mostly cons, of overstuffing your hotel room. Sheev and I talk about preparing your panel. Sketch gives advice for a young artist's first convention. And in the news, Vegeta shows up at Sakura-Con. I'm Patrick D, and this is the real AnimeCons.com podcast for April 2010.
Starting out west, Noisy Ito, the original character designer for The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and Ryo Horikawa, the voice of Vegeta, will be guests at this year's Sakura-Con. Anime Expo has announced voice actor Kyle Aber as the latest addition to their guest of honor roster. Also, Cosplay.com will be providing Coswork gift certificates and other prizes for the Kawaii Kon's Masquerade event. In the Midwest, Anime St. Louis has announced guests including Richard Epcar, Ellen Stern, Troy Baker, Dirk Tade, and Tadahisha Yoshida. Colossalcon has announced their second round of guests. J. Michael Tatum, Chris Kaysen, Christina V, and Leah Clark will be attending the convention this June. In the South, on April 3rd, the Freer and Sackler galleries in Washington, D.C., in partnership with Otacorp and the D.C. Anime Club, will host a cosplay contest as part of the annual National Cherry Blossom Festival Anime Marathon. Miami's Mizu Con has announced Michael Cinterneclis, David Williams, and Johnny Young Bosch with his band iShine will be guests of honor this year. T-Mode has announced a rare guest appearance by voice actress and ADR director Wendy Lee. Anime Overload has changed their convention dates to August 6th through the 8th, 2010 in order to not run so close to other conventions in the area. The event will still be held at the North Austin Event Center, formerly known as the Crockett Center, in Austin, Texas. The Japanese rock band Quaff is stopping at MTAC Odyssey on their 2010 US tour. The convention has also announced overflow hotel space at the nearby Embassy Suites Nashville Airport. Up in the Northeast, RIT Anime Club has announced the final guests of Tora-Con 2010. Gavin Guska, Aneth from Apple Geeks, not Hawk, Yuko Ota, and voice actor Billy West. The convention will be held on the RIT campus in Rochester, New York. Visual key band Lulzmelt will be performing at Tekkoshocon in Pittsburgh. The convention has also announced guests Uncle Gyo and Johnny Young Bosch with his band iShine. No surprise there. For more information of any of these announcements, visit AnimeCons.com.
Unless you live really close to a convention, chances are you're going to need a hotel room. Unfortunately, hotel rooms can be expensive, especially if you're going to a con in a big city. So you're probably going to get some roommates to help cut down on the cost, right? But at what point is there too many people where your savings are kind of not worth it? Now, before we get any further, we at AnimeCons.com want to say that all hotel guests must follow occupancy limits. They are there for a reason, and you can get kicked out of the hotel if you get caught, and of course we don't want that to happen to you. So don't say we didn't warn you. Now that that's out of the way, let's go over the pros and cons of overstuffing your room. So the pros are, you pay less money, obviously, and who doesn't want more money to spend in the dealer's room at an anime convention? And you get to hang out with your friends a lot, and that's a lot of fun. And then people may bring food or something like that to share. And, well, that's really about it. You know, saving money is a huge pro. But how much less are you really paying? I mean, is it worth it? Stupid thing. All right, the cons are you violate the hotel rules and you risk being kicked out. And there's not enough beds, which means some people can be sleeping on the floor, or you could be sleeping on the floor, and that could cause drama and fights and things like that. People need to share keys because the hotel probably won't give you more than 4 keys because they'll be like, why do they need more than 4 keys? There won't be a lot of space for your luggage, costumes, and again, sleeping. And sleeping on the floor, in the bathtub, in the closet, that's not fun. So let's see how much you're actually really saving by overstuffing your room. So say a room costs $100. We all wish they were that cheap, but we'll do $100, and that's after taxes to make the math easy. So the cost breakdown is this way. One person's $100 a night. 2 people is $50, so you each save $50. 3 people is $33. 4 people is 25, and 4 people is usually how many you can have in a hotel room. That's the max number of keys you'll get. So each person will pay $25 a night, saving $75 per night. Once you go to 5 people, it's $20 per person, so you save another $5. 6 people is $16.67. You save another $3 on top of that. 7 people, you'll pay $14.28. And then 8 people, you'll pay $12.50 per night. So you would save $87.50. So a difference of 4 people, you're saving $75. 8 people, you're saving $87.50. That's only a difference of $12.50, which my sanity is worth a lot more than $12.50. So it would make more sense to book 2 rooms so people have room to spread out, relax, not worry about stepping over people when they go to the bathroom. Personally, I think paying twice as much is definitely worth the cost. I like sleeping in an actual bed. I don't want to have to call someone to be like, hey, can I use your key to get back into the room? Yes, some cons have very expensive hotel rooms. Say it's $200 a night and you're staying Thursday through Sunday, which at a big con, I know I do that for Anime Boston and Otakon, so that's a huge cost right there. If you have 4 people, that's $150 each. 8 people, it's $75 each. So you are saving half the cost, but again, is it worth the aggravation? I think no. So all in all, we think overstuffing a room is a bad idea. The overall cramped environment and not enough bed space can lead to drama and bad moods, and no one wants that ruining their convention. Plus, coordinating keys is a huge pain, especially if you don't know everyone who's staying in the room. So if you know that a con is coming up in a few months, start saving your money now so you don't have to have too many people in your hotel room to cut costs. That way you can enjoy the con without worrying about who has the keys, whether or not you're going to have a bed to sleep in, or so you don't step on people in the middle of the night trying to go to the bathroom.
So we're here to talk about preparing for a panel. So maybe you're thinking about running a panel, maybe somebody's asked you to do a panel. There's several things you should do. We want to make sure we cover them all here.
Well, first of all, you actually want to ask yourself, are you qualified to run the panel? Is it something that you have personal knowledge of, or you've studied up on, or in the case of a voice actor, do you have them available?
If you're running a panel on a series, do you have some qualifications that makes you an expert on that series, or are you just another fan like everybody else in the room? Those panels tend to turn into gushing and aren't as memorable.
Usually if you have something insightful about the topic that you might want to share with other people, it's probably a good idea to pick that for your panel topic.
Yeah. And maybe you're not qualified enough yourself, but you might have friends who can help you with that. Maybe you know a college professor that knows about one topic, or you have a friend who's been to Japan and can talk about things there. So you can invite people to join you on the panel.
Or at the very least, if they can't actually show up and do it with you, you can consult with them beforehand and maybe get some information that you wouldn't have had by yourself that you can add to your panel presentation. Yeah,
discuss the panel with them, see if there's anything that you can fit into the panel and make the presentation better. Now, once you've decided that you want to do this panel, you have to sign up for it. Don't just show up at the con and expect to present. It's usually 6 months or more ahead of time. They'll have a form up on the website usually, or give you an email address where you can contact the programming people and submit for a panel.
And they're probably going to want some kind of synopsis or at least an outline of what you plan to do at that time. So you want to kind of plan it out a little bit in advance before you even fill out that application.
Yeah, because you'll need the description, you'll need a list of panelists, estimated runtime, if you need any tech for that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've signed up, it's time to actually start preparing the panel. Now, you'll want to make sure you have plenty of notes available to refer to during the panel, especially if you're not comfortable in front of crowds, so that you have something to refer to.
And usually it probably keeps the audience interested if you have some kind of multimedia or something to show off, right?
Yeah, if there's something for the crowd to see on a screen that makes it a lot more visually appealing.
What else can you do if they don't have, say, maybe internet access in your room or a screen? Not all panel rooms have those.
Yeah, well, first I wouldn't recommend relying on internet access for the panel because you never know, even if the hotel or convention center promises free Wi-Fi, it could go down, it could be really slow with everybody connecting, so have a hard copy available for yourself to refer to. If you've got a computer, have it locally on the computer. Don't rely on having to go to Google Docs for it.
What kind of tech can you expect them to provide you with?
Different conventions have different types of tech available. Larger ones will have more, obviously, but usually you get a table and a microphone at the very least. If you're lucky, there's a projector so that you can plug in a laptop with a VGA connector. So check on that ahead of time because you don't want to do this big PowerPoint and realize you can't show it, or have a DVD and not be able to show it off.
What if you wanted to do like a hands-on panel, like a craft panel or something?
Oh, a workshop.
Yes.
Well, then
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Then you've got to bring in all the workshop materials, of course. Depending on what the workshop is, if it's plushie making or cell drawing, you need to provide all of those. So you'll have to make sure you've got enough of those ready. And so once you've got all the materials set to go, practice. Gather some friends around, have them all in your living room, and give the panel a go. See how it goes. You can check for timing, content, see if it holds the interests. Is the quality up to par? See what they think, get their feedback.
I probably also wouldn't count on audience participation to carry it. Because that's going to vary depending on who shows up and what topic you're covering and if they actually have legitimate questions or something to add, because that could die really fast. That could be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I've had some panels where I've got way too much for the time allotted and others where kind of run out of questions and all right, we end early.
Time to go.
And if you can't get some friends to help you out with this, you can also try doing it in front of a video camera and play it back and watch it yourself and see how you look and see if it actually holds your own interest.
If you're bored by you probably should change something.
Yeah.
What should you do when you actually get to the con?
Once you get to the con, you should check in and let them know you're there. And then when it's time for your panel, arrive early so that you're ready to go as soon as the previous panelist is finished. And plan to end early, especially if you have some pack up to do. If you've got some workshop materials you've got to pack up, you got to make sure that at the time the next panel has to start, that you're not holding them up.
Sounds good.
And so I usually, for normal panels, I'll usually end around 10 minutes early.
Is there any worst case scenario situation you've ever had to deal with that you can advise? What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
Well, there was one convention I went to. I was doing a panel on anime conventions, actually. And the panel room had no chairs, no AV, and no people. With 2 out of the 3, I would have done the panel anyway. Okay, everybody sits on the floor, or okay, I'll do it without the AV, but or even if there's no people, I would have just done the panel and had fun with the AV and a chair to sit in. But yeah, without 2 of those 3, I just said, oh well. And I had told the convention planners, yeah, next time, have some chairs. So.
Well, hopefully your first foray into panel making will be more successful than that experience. So good luck.
This month's episode is brought to you by AnimeCheap.com, which is run by our very own Elizabeth.
Thanks,
Hey, Elizabeth.
Mitch. Hi.
Well, what is AnimeCheap.com?
AnimeCheap.com is just a simple website I put together. It has a couple different parts to it. The first is it lists where you can buy anime really cheap and manga, where you can get manga and anime for free legally, and also it has a news feed that'll post deals that I've found or other people have sent me, such as the ratestuff.com's deals for 40% off this particular distributor, or hey, I found this great deal at Amazon.com or something like that. So I created the website because a lot of times you hear the excuse, anime's too expensive, that's why I downloaded illegally through torrents or YouTube or things like that.
Which is bad for the industry, which is why either it's skyrocketed in price or the series are just cut off by the companies who bring them over.
It's very bad for the industry if you especially if it's something that's already licensed. You know, there's a kind of a people say there's some people say there's a gray area when it hasn't been licensed in the U.S., but the industry has taken great steps to give us anime for free online, and you can see that all on our website, and they've definitely heard what the anime fan wants, and that's free anime. Everyone loves free anime.
So you heard it here. Please go to animecheap.com. This month's Q&A comes from Sharon. Hello, my daughter's 13 and a budding artist and wishes to come to the convention. I'll be escorting her. She has never been to a convention before and I would like it to be a great experience. Her interest is in drawing anime characters. She also makes paper dolls and has made her own anime character costume and masquerade mask to match. I need some guidance as to what to sign her up for and how all this works. Thanks, Sharon. Well, thank you, Sharon, for the question. First thing off is that it's interesting to start off in the artist alley. I have done it myself at several conventions. And my best suggestion for you is to actually just go to the convention and not sign her up for an artist alley. You will, not only if you go to the convention, you will see many different art forms. There's some people who do 3D stuff, some people do prints, and some people have their own comics. And it's more just see what they're doing, what they offer, and it'll be better off for her to figure out what she wants to do at the next year's convention or the next convention she goes to that she would like to sign up for. It's a better interim for someone of that age to, not be overwhelmed going to a convention. And if not, just going to the convention just to be freestyle, just to experience it, will give her a better understanding of what's happening at the convention, what people like, and for the better off will make her actual going to an artist alley later a lot more enjoyable for her. As for making the experience good for her, look through the program guide, check out stuff. There might be workshops and stuff that she would be interested in which pertain to the art form, or maybe she'll discover something else she's interested in that she would later want to make and sell. That's the best advice I can give for such a young and upcoming artist, and I hope she does very well. If you have any convention-related questions for the AnimeCons.com podcast crew, you can send them to us at podcast@animecons.com.
Congratulations to Nicholas Anderson, the winner of our contest to identify the items on our backdrop. It was a close contest, but Nicholas came on top by correctly listing 32 of these conventions. Actually, I'm not even sure how many there are. I'll have to count them up sometime, but he got 32 of them. Great job. And we'll be sending you this Shuffle DVD autographed by Todd Haberkorn. If you happen to see the podcast on April 1st, you saw an episode from 1990 that we pulled from our archives. You can now find it in our Extras feed. Search for AnimeCons Extras in iTunes or follow the link in our show notes. Speaking of iTunes, AnimeCons and the Chibi Project are going to attempt to scam the system in an experiment called Operation iScam. To do this, we need everyone to subscribe to the podcast in iTunes within the same hour, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday, April 7th. Even if you don't use iTunes, you can uninstall it later. We'll be live streaming from the studio during Operation iScam to monitor the results and chat with viewers. And the goal is to try to get the Chibi Project and AnimeCons to the top 50 in the iTunes listing. For full details on Operation iScam, visit animecons.com/iScam. You can follow our news on Twitter at twitter.com/animecons. You can join our fan club by becoming a fan on Facebook at facebook.com/animeconspodcast. And talk about AnimeCons in our forums at forums.animecons.com. Join us next month when we'll have reports from Anime Boston 2010.
The thing's blocking the light. I need to see the light. Okay. No, I don't need that. Okay. Oh! Right. This is what a hotel room looks like with 12 people. So you have 2 beds. Person sleeping between each bed, foot of each bed, under the TV table, in the closet, and in the bathroom. Where's your luggage going? Where's your costumes going? What happens when you have to go to the bathroom? It's not worth it. No, don't do it.
He's a giant robot.
Hi.
All right, bye. All right, bye. I gotta finish my costume.
I'm gonna finish my costumes. I've already postponed 2 of them. Fail. Right.
Cheap, 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 cheap. Mine?
8 p.m. Eastern Daylight